My mother-in-law demanded a DNA test for our baby, then went silent when she saw the results. Patricia walked into the nursery without knocking and stared at my 3-month-old daughter like she was examining evidence. She doesn't look anything like our family, she said flatly. Those eyes, that nose. I want a DNA test. My hands froze on the diaper tabs. We'd been through this every single visit since Lily was born, but this time her voice had that edge that meant she wasn't backing down. Patricia, please, not again. She crossed her arms. I'm not watching my son raise another man's child. Get the test done, or I'm cutting David out of my will. All $5 million of it. That night at dinner, Patricia slid printed articles across our table. 30% of men are raising children that aren't theirs, she read aloud while David's face went pale. She leaned forward with this awful smile. She got pregnant after only 6 months of dating you. Moved right into your house. Convenient timing, don't you think? I felt like I'd been slapped. David looked at me, then at his mother. Maybe we should just do it, he whispered, just to make her stop. Something broke inside me right then. My own husband was actually considering this. The next 3 weeks were hell. Patricia called daily asking if we'd done the test. She told David's entire family, and suddenly everyone was looking at me like I was a con artist. At Sunday dinner, his aunt whispered to him, your father would want you to know the truth. His brother looked at me and said, must be nice locking down a rich guy right before having a baby. I cried in the bathroom for 20 minutes. When I came out, they were all huddled around Patricia, nodding as she listed every reason why Lily couldn't possibly be a Whitmore. David started sleeping in the guest room. Patricia hired a private investigator who followed me everywhere. At Lily's baptism, she made a speech about embracing all children no matter their origins, and everyone stared at me. That night, David said it. Just take the test. Prove her wrong so we can move on. But I could see the doubt in his eyes. Fine, I said, tears streaming. Order the damn test. Patricia insisted on being there for the cheek swabs, watching like a hawk. I'll take this directly to the lab myself. Can't risk interference. The next 2 weeks destroyed us. David barely spoke to me, barely looked at Lily. Finally, Patricia called. Her voice sounded strange, scared, almost. The results are in. I'm coming over with your father, right now. She arrived with Richard, who looked confused. Patricia, why did you make me leave work for this? Patricia's hands shook as she pulled out the envelope. Her face was white. Open it, David said. But Patricia didn't move. She stared at the envelope like it would explode. Mom, what's wrong? She looked at Richard with terrified eyes. I made a mistake. We don't need to do this. David grabbed it and ripped it open. 99.9% probability. She's mine. But Richard grabbed the papers and his hands started trembling. The DNA test showed familial matches for everyone. David shared 0% DNA markers with Richard. Richard wasn't his biological father. The room went silent. Patricia backed toward the door. Richard, I can explain. His voice cracked. Explain what? That you've been lying for 31 years? David's face went white. Dad? Richard's voice broke. Don't call me that. Patricia burst into tears. It was one mistake 32 years ago. Richard's voice was ice. Who is his real father? She whispered. Your brother, Daniel. Richard sat down hard. Get out of my house. Now. I found my voice. You destroyed my marriage because you were the cheater. You accused me of what you did. Patricia crumpled. I'm sorry. I was wrong. But Richard was already on the phone with his lawyer, on speaker. Patricia listened as he filed for divorce, demanded paternity tests for all 3 children, changed the locks. He turned to David. I don't care what that paper says. You're my son. DNA doesn't change 31 years. Patricia was removed by police that evening. Over the next month, tests confirmed David's sister wasn't Richard's either. Patricia had had another affair. Richard took everything in the divorce. Patricia tried reaching out once to meet Lily. David's response was simple. According to you, she's not family. Live with those consequences. Richard is Lily's only grandfather now. Last Sunday, Lily pointed at a woman watching from across the street. Grandpa, who's that sad lady? It was Patricia. Richard picked up Lily and walked away. Nobody important, sweetheart. Nobody at all.